Hello, everyone. We will just give people a few minutes to join. So hello, everyone. Good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you are. Welcome to the next generation of agency efficiency, automated targeting, and social media content creation webinar on how agencies can harness the power of generative AI for growth, hosted by Listening 24/7. My name is Ivana Vujicic, and I am based in Belgrade, Serbia, and I am a member of the Listening 24/7 customer success team. So a warm welcome to everyone who can join us. We have executives from agencies from all over the world today with us. We are very grateful to have you with us, and we hope that this webinar will be insightful and worthwhile investment of your valuable time. I'm soon going to be introducing our speakers, but just a quick info before that. At the end, we will have about 10 minutes to answer any questions that you have. As we go along, please feel free to post questions at any point in the Q&A in the sidebar, and we will answer them either during the session or during the Q&A session at the end. To start off, we're going to run a quick poll. Please use the interaction tab on the right of your screen to participate in the poll, and you can find it in the sidebar on the right. You can also see the Q&A section where you can post any questions that you have, and would love to hear from all of your questions. So as you can see for the poll, would like to know your opinion on by when do you think AI will reach human intelligence and possibly super intelligence? So take a few seconds to answer. Okay, now moving on to the best part, which is the discussion between the two speakers that I'm going to introduce. So first, I'm going to introduce our guest speaker, Marcus Harding, founder of Deviceful. Hello, Marcus, can you join me?
Hi, everyone.
Hello, and we're excited to have you here. So I'm gonna just say a few words about Marcus. Marcus has over 25 years of experience, having worked extensively across the marketing, branding, creative, operations, and ad tech space, with a background that spans both traditional and digital media, starting in the outdoor before moving into digital. He brings a rare mix of strategic thinking and practical know-how. In 2015, he founded Deviceful, an independent creative agency built from the ground up to help brands deliver high-performing digital campaigns. Marcus and his team work directly with clients to shape their creative strategy, unlock scalable solutions, and leverage emerging tech and automation to get more from their marketing. And now we'll move on to Michalis. Michalis, can you join us as well?
Hi, everyone.
Hi, hello. So Michalis is the founder and CEO of Listening 24/7. And Michalis is an aerospace engineer by education. He hasn't made it into outer space yet. He chose instead to spend his career in market research, consulting, and data analytics. Shortly, he'll be telling us why data and AI is more exciting than outer space. Thank you, Michalis. Thank you, Marcus. I'm now handing over to Michalis to take it from here.
Thanks, Ivana. Welcome, Marcus. Great to have you. The poll, the majority believe that we will have AGI and possibly super intelligence by 2030. I'm with you. Marcus, where are you? 2030, 2100, or never?
It's a definite thing that will happen. I'll probably say I would say in the middle, 3 to 5 years.
Yeah, you know what? There are some people that say by 2027 even. So we'll see. We'll see. All right. So let's start. I will share 2 or 3 slides with everyone just to set the stage, and then we will go right into our conversation, Marcus. Okay. So let me just move to the next one. Yeah. So again, hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us live, and thanks to those of you who are watching the recording. The benefit of being in a live webinar is that you can participate in a conversation with us. So hopefully my discussion today with Marcus will motivate you to participate. We will just have a very authentic talk as 2 CEOs of companies in adjacent spaces, and you cannot ask questions or make comments using the Q&A button. You will notice on the top right part of your screen, there is Q&A and there's chat. Please ask your questions under the Q&A button. So, and I do mean it when I say authentic. I'm not just using the word just like that. The goal is to connect with you, have a real conversation, and not to appear smart by using long and complicated words, which sometimes is what happens in webinars like this. There is a quote from Edward Wilson. He was an American biologist, which I like and I keep repeating, where he says the world will be run by synthesizers and machines. I'm adding this myself, which is people and machines able to put together the right information at the right time, think creatively about it, and make important choices wisely. I think this quote describes both our skill sets between listening 24/7 and Deviceful in a very succinct way. The insights part and the creative part of what an advertising and media agency is involved in. We're all here because we want to sell more, if we are honest. Well, some of us to learn, but at the end of the day, there is this deep philosophical statement for you, and I'm being a bit sarcastic, which goes, unless someone sells something, nothing happens. Very deep. Unless someone sells something, nothing happens. Having said that, nobody likes to be sold to aggressively, and so we dress it up as education, sharing ideas. Remember, we have to be. We said we are going to be authentic, but it works. And so let's see what you told us when you registered. We asked you a few questions and. So the first question was, do you currently use generative AI to create content? And the majority of you said that it is essential and you're actively using it. I thought I was a bit surprised of how many said yes. I thought that would be maybe half or a bit less than half, but it's more than it's 60%. 27% said they see it as important and are currently exploring AI's potential. 10% recognize its importance and are eager to learn more. And a very small percentage will stick with traditional methods. When we asked you, what would you like to take home from this webinar? You said you want to take your agencies to the next level with AI. You want to increase efficiency in your workflows, learn about automation and its applications. Discover how AI can enhance targeting, precision, and content creation speed. Learn how to create content that spreads organically, learn new use cases for AI usage. And finally, what questions did you want to ask us in advance? This is what you said: how to secure congruent content production, how to stay authentic in an AI-driven world. All great questions. Can AI define content creativity level? With all of this automation going on, who builds these tools? So hopefully we will answer all the questions during the conversation with Marcus, but if not, Ivana will take any unanswered questions forward to the last section of our webinar, during which we will answer them. Remember, I'm repeating what I said before, type your questions in the Q&A section as they come to you. So as we talk, a question pops up, go and type it in so that Ivana will manage the process during the last 10 minutes. Okay, so we'll start now the conversation with Marcus. Effectively, I mean, one of you asked this question. I believe that the most immediate and undisputable benefit to marketing agencies when using generative AI is that they become more efficient. They can do more with less people. They can do more with the current people, but way more production. Allow me to set the stage with this, and then I will ask my first question to Marcus. So what you're looking at is the result of AI analysis of 26,000 posts that were gathered from social media: Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok, YouTube, and so on. And DataVinci, so Listening 24/7 is the platform that does that. DataVinci is the Gen AI that powers Listening 24/7. It's a proprietary model. And this ad here is for Nando's, the restaurant chain. Many of you may know it and have been to a Nando's. And Nando's competes with restaurant chains like TGI Fridays, Pizza Hut, Five Guys, chains like that. And so based on the 26,000 posts that were gathered during 30 days, so a calendar month, DataVinci came up with everything that you see here in an automated way. The first thing is that it decides which themes are important. In this case, special occasions and memories. So many people talk about special occasions and memories, and in this specific case, on Facebook, right? The conversation driver for Nando's, so the suggestion to participate in this conversation, is a bit more specific, and it's about Nando's being a place to bond with loved ones. That's what Nando's should be talking about in their posts, organic and in paid media. The third thing DataVinci does is it provides a recommendation, a business action, and it provides multiple recommendations, by the way, but we chose this one because we thought it was kind of creative, and it's the suggestion is memory wall in restaurants, and some more detail: dedicate a section in each restaurant where customers can share photos, notes, or mementos of their cherished moments at Nando's, fostering emotional connections. And then there is the copy of the post: share your cherished moments at Nando's, whether it's a family reunion, a birthday bash, or just a meal with someone special. We want to be part of your story. Visit our new memory wall, etc. And then at the bottom, where it says image brief, what that really is the prompt that DataVinci creates, and then it uses it to produce the image that you see on the left. And so what I want to ask you, Marcus, is Give us your opinion as to whether you think something like this is ready to be posted organically on social media or as paid media, or whether you think it requires some touching up by a human.
Yeah, happy to do that. I just want to say that I'm not being paid to be here, so just to make sure everyone knows I'm independent on this. This is a really interesting webinar. I was really happy to be part of. AI is the biggest thing for me in my own agency, so it's all I'm researching at the moment is how to make my own business more efficient by leveraging AI. In terms of this particular brand, I think it's very much about the briefing process. So what this allows us to do is jump a few steps forward in terms of like the insights and the briefing process, because for us, the most important thing as an ad agency or a creative agency is working off a good brief. So if you put rubbish in, then you're going to get rubbish out. And with this particular brief that we're seeing here, it's what we would want, what we would need to work off to produce a campaign, both organic and paid. So what's going in is good. In terms of the image that's coming out, I would say that the main things that we look for really, I think, around sort of composition, so that's the layout, things like image quality and resolution, we're always looking for that. Cropping and zoom angles, those kind of things. And also we call it like the AI test. So AI is getting a lot better. It's revolutionary, but if you can tell something's AI, then that's when there's a problem. So does it pass that kind of AI test, and is it on brand as well? With this particular image, it's less risky because the Nando's restaurant, you could assume it's a Nando's restaurant, so that works. The composition works, and the brief that it's come from works as well. So with this particular image, we will be able to bring it into Studio as an asset, and then maybe make some small changes to it, artwork it, and then we could use it both in a paid ad or an organic post. So this particular ad would work with a small amount of kind of critique around the edge.
Thank you. Thank you, Marcus. Well, let's go to the next one, and I will ask you the same question. So this one is, it was created for a baby clothing company, and you can see the theme or conversation topic, the conversation driver, the suggested action, the copy, and the image brief, which again, we're calling it a brief and not a prompt because we are still not confident. And that's why we're having this conversation today. We're still not confident whether this image can go out there as is, or is it a great inspiration for people like Marcus and his agency and the rest of you who are in the audience. So how about this one, Marcus?
This one, again, the brief that it's come from works. This is a harder one to get right compared to the Nando's image. The reason for that is it's product based. So with something like baby clothes, the material, the look and feel, that's really important to get across because it's an actual product that you're buying. So you want the image to look like the product that you're buying. I'd probably say there's more work to do on this particular image, but the AI generated baby and item on the baby looks really, really good on the left-hand side. The slightly closer up image, that would require more artwork. There's also things like composition. So we would probably move the baby into the middle of the left side picture because at the moment it's slightly set to the left. There's also, I think it's a gray line between the two images. You'd need to merge that up. But all in all, again, this is doing so much work for us that we don't have to do. It's getting us to the point where we've got something to work with and we haven't had to go back and produce everything from scratch. So it's a kind of couple of steps forward for our studio team to work with. So this would be something, again, that we would use.
Wonderful. So you agree that it would help with increasing productivity and efficiency. It gets you to a stage much faster, and then you just fine tune, right?
This is exactly where we're at with the industry and AI within our space. It's an efficiency play. We're not AGI yet, and this is helping from an efficiency perspective.
Wonderful. Okay, well, very quickly, this one is very different. This one is more about the creative idea of De Da Vinci. It came up with this idea that the company should create virtual and in-person story time events for children, and he created this visual. I guess there's not much to say about the visual, but maybe you can say a few things about what a copywriter would you like the previous one, roar into cuteness with our new Lion print collection. Our little cubs can't get enough of this playful, cozy design. Would you change anything on that?
Can you go to the next slide? I don't think I can see it. That's it. Yeah, so I really, this is a really nice image. I think the coloring is great. I think the composition is spot on. With this, it's pretty much, I'd say it's pretty much done. All I would say is there's some small minor work. So for example, the moon, I think it's the moon is within the tree canopy. So we'd either remove the tree canopy or move the moon maybe central. And then also I think there's on the ground there's like a tiger toy, but you can't quite make it out. So that's something that we'd probably airbrush out. But again, you're talking probably a final 10% that we can now do to this image rather than 100%.
Amazing how you pick these things up and your attention to detail. Okay, so let's move to the next question, which is, and I'll stop sharing in a bit. Have you used Gen AI at your agency to produce images for ads in the, or are you using it currently?
Yeah, so we've not actually used it to produce a final image that's been untouched up, that's gone live for, say, a global brand that we work with. What we do again is it's an efficiency play as well. So we massively use it within the editing side of our business, so image editing. So we use PhotoStock pretty extensively, and what we'll do is we'll take either an image from the brand that they've provided via their asset file. That could be a cartoon, animated, or kind of real life image, or we use things like Shutterstock and Adobe Stock, where we'll take an image, and if it's not quite right, we will use AI to extend the scene, artwork over. So the editing is really important at the moment for us with AI.
Yeah.
The other thing is we do use images quite extensively that are AI generated for things like scamps, concepts, mocks, pitch work, that kind of stuff, but it's pre-live work. The other thing is AI exists within the search tools. When you're looking for images, you might have a million assets you're searching in for a particular one. AI will help you with that. So that's all good. The general issues are just the final image needs to be touched up by humans. So that's definitely something that we're still needed for. And then there's other things like licensing issues. So if an image has been purely generated by AI, you don't know about the licensing issue potentially. And then there's also brand sign off. So global brands won't sign off on something that hasn't been approved by brand. So that's another kind of issue. But in the future, I think 3 to 5 years time, these issues will go away, but the efficiency is there today for this.
Marcus, Ivana, can you hear me? Oh, there's.
Yeah.
Hey, Marcus. I don't know if it was me or you, but I lost you for a bit. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Kerry, may I ask you to put up the second poll question, please? There you go. So what's your biggest challenge with Gen AI in ad creation? Those of you who are using it, you have some options. So while you answer this question, we'll continue with our conversation here. So when we're talking about quality of ads that are generated by AI, in your experience, is there a difference in expectations depending on how big the company is, if it's a very small company or if it's a blue chip multinational?
Yeah, there is. I guess there's sort of three areas. There's small companies and large companies. Then there's things like, is it a brand campaign or is it performance? Is it like digital versus traditional media? And I guess you could say, is it organic versus paid? That's maybe a fourth area. So with the small businesses, maybe the local estate agent on the high street, a lot of them are mainly running performance activity on the usual suspect platforms like Google and Meta. There's a much lower expectation of image quality. So the benefits massively outweigh the downside. So your brand doesn't really matter as much. If the image isn't quite right, it's well worth the efficiencies that AI generated images can bring, for sure. I'm also seeing a lot of people are posting on LinkedIn and they're using AI generated ads, and you can see the sixth finger on the hand or something. Really bad for your personal brand, but people do it anyway. So in terms of like the medium to large size brands, so when it comes to performance campaigns, I think it's less problematic, when it's price discounts, those kind of things. There's the scale of the number of ads AI allows you to produce gives you the ability to do lots of different campaigns. So it's kind of worth it. But if you're what I'd call like a pixel perfect brand, I'll explain that in a minute. But with Spotify, for example, an image of like 2000 pixels or whatever, literally the 2000th pixel needs to be a certain color. It's down to that level of quality. You can't really get that from AI at the moment. And someone like, say, Louis Vuitton or LVMH, they're doing, brand campaigns. They'll be less, I can't speak for them. I imagine they're less, embracing of AI generated images for efficiency because they don't need to be, they're more particular, I think.
And they want pixel perfect.
They want pixel perfect, yeah. And the other areas like regulations, so things like pharmaceuticals and finance, this is more on a copy side, but it's quite dangerous to launch ads that haven't been checked, that have been used, you're using AI because there might be issues with the copy or regulation.
With the regulation. Yeah. For drugs and for, absolutely.
Yeah.
May I ask those of you who have not clicked on the interactions button on the right to go do that and try to answer the question, what's your biggest challenge with Gen AI in ad creation? And also, can I remind you that, thank you. Can I remind you that we have a Q&A button next to interactions, and that's where you can type in your questions. Marcus and I will take time, about 10 minutes towards the end, to answer all your questions. All right. I think we have enough. So let me tell you what's happening. It's 1/3 of you say getting the right Gen AI generated copy first time. That's the biggest challenge, which I think Marcus agrees with. All of us agree. AI generated visuals are not on brand. It's a possibility, yes, but as we have seen with the Nando's example, it could have been on brand. And then the third challenge is Gen AI lacks creativity. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure. Marcus, what do you think about this? Where would you be if you had to answer this question?
Well, like I said, it's down to the briefing. It's what you put in, but also a big area of development is prompt engineering. So, people that are worried about their jobs like copywriters, it's an opportunity for them to learn things like prompt engineering.
Well, I mean, if they were using what we're showing here today, they wouldn't really need to, because the prompts are created by the data, by the thousands of conversations. In the case of Nando's, it was 26,000 in the month of I think it was June. That's old data, and the prompts were created by Da Vinci itself. All right, next question. There are some marketers out there, I've experienced that feel threatened by this technology, and others that are excited by the possibilities. If I had to bet, I would put you in the latter group. But what does the reaction depend on? What do you think is going on there? Who is threatened? Who is not?
I guess the analogy might be something like electricity. That was a revolution that happened a couple hundred years ago. It got rid of certain industries, but it created many, many more. So it really is a kind of shifting sands scenario. That's easy to say if you're not in one of those affected areas, but the business I run, there's definitely areas where we need to evolve and others where this is the massive force multiplier, and it allows us as a smaller agency to compete with larger agencies. So it's kind of leveling the playing field in that regard. What I would say is, personally speaking, until AGI comes online, which could be now in America somewhere, who knows, or China, but probably another 5 years, this is an opportunity that can be harnessed if you embrace it. With AGI coming in, that's when this potentially becomes smart on us. That I can't really predict what that necessarily means.
Nobody can.
No,
but
like the 3 tiers for us, we've got thinking, designing, and then doing, right? So it's like strategy, design, production. Production has been eroded by this. It's easy to produce stuff with AI. Design it assists you to design, but it's not the designer. And then the strategy is still a human input. But AI is just helping the kind of design and up areas to get better at what they do.
Yeah. I think you said, and before I ask you this, Kerry, may I ask you to share the call to action, which is for our audience, if you would like to talk to Marcus and I, you have the opportunity to let us know by clicking on the call to action. Once you've done this, maybe you can also show the third poll question, Kerry, which is, what are the chances you will use Gen AI to create ads for your clients in the next 3 months? So click on interactions and answer the question, if you don't mind. So we talked about these ads created by the AI to be used as organic social media posts or as paid ads, or maybe even used on a programmatic advertising platform. Do you have any view on whether there should be differences between an organic post, the image used in an organic post, versus the one used on paid media on Facebook versus one used on a programmatic platform? Or could they be the same?
I mean, essentially they do need to look slightly different because they're fulfilling 2 different functions. But ultimately, it can't be a disconnected difference. They both need to be on brand, and they both need to be, so that you can associate both, right? But I mean, with paid ads, it's kind of more around, speed and conversion, particularly within the performance area. So it's about stopping people scrolling, CTAs, clear headlines, those kind of things. With organic posts, it's probably more conversational, maybe softer, kind of building trust. It's kind of more of a community feel. So they've got different objectives, but as long as they kind of sync up, that's probably the most important thing. Tone of voice, that kind of stuff. Also, just on like the testing side of things is really interesting because we do a lot of A/B variant testing, and we build a lot of dynamic creative, and we've had clients in the past that have taken the results of those campaigns to see what performed best, to actually then go on and produce a press ad or an out of home ad or something that's single design. So that it's good for testing as well. These kind of dynamic AI driven.
Great. Thank you. All right. The result of the third and last poll is that 43% said you are already using Gen AI to create ads. Yeah, we already knew that. Another 43 says we'll definitely use already testing, and then a small percentage say, let me see, it is a possibility, we need to understand more. All right, I think it's time to turn it over to Ivana, and so that we can go through some of the questions that are coming through the audience, whether during registration or later. So over to you, Ivana.
Thank you, Michalis. Thank you, Marcus. So we do have some interesting questions here, and I'll start with one for Michalis. How is this offering different from other generative AI or creation solutions?
Yes, thank you. So there is a very distinct difference, and it is the fact that there's a whole data engine behind the Gen AI that produces content. And the data from the social media conversations produces the conversation drivers, as you have seen. And then the conversation driver, after that, we have a business action, and then the prompts. So the main difference in a sentence is that in all other Gen AI tools out there that are currently used by many of the people on the audience, they require a prompt by a human. In our case, the prompt is created by the insights from the conversations.
Thank you. Another one is for Marcus, and it says, if you start using Data Vinci, will it reduce headcounts at your agency?
No, probably not. Like what we've discovered is the more that we can do with technology, the more brands we can work with, the more campaigns we can work on, the more clients we can service, which means that we need to potentially hire more people. We're actually looking for headcount growth at the moment, so we can't really do that unless we have access to the best leading technology solutions, AI solutions, to be able to have a seat at the client table, because pure services businesses struggle without some kind of knowledge or access to leading technology. So we hopefully wouldn't see that happen.
Thank you. And this one I would also forward to you, Marcus. And it says, what are the main benefits for an ad agency to use listening 24/7 in Data Vinci, in your opinion?
The main one, I guess, is, I sort of mentioned it earlier, I think probably around this sort of efficiency play, the insights, doing market research, insights takes a long time, a lot of money. And with what I've seen so far from the platform, the briefs and the prompts are pretty much there on what we'd expect from, say, another team, human team doing that work. And that just means that we can focus all of our time on time and effort and being creative. We can do more with the same resources in the areas that we're really good at, which is, building creatives, building campaigns. And we're not being distracted by having to do skill sets that are maybe less valuable or distracting, because this is allowing us to kind of step up to the creative phase more quickly.
Thank you. Next one is for Michalis. How to secure congruent content production?
I don't know if it's about me. You know what? I'm not sure I even understood this question. Can you repeat it?
How to secure congruent content production?
Congruent content production. I think it's for Marcus.
Yeah, I mean, I think I understand. So there's a few things, I guess. So it's having clear brand guidelines is super important. So a lot of brands store their assets and brand guidelines in digital asset management systems. So you need to make sure that you get access to that before you build anything or you start anything. The other thing is you've got to have human beings around and within these kind of processes, like at the earliest phase, because like I said, rubbish in, rubbish out. So at the very beginning, when you're defining strategy, you need to make sure you've got clear brand guidelines, clear campaign strategy, whether it's a performance campaign or brand campaign, you need to know what these assets are going to be used for. And you just basically need to make sure that you don't have too many silos. So there's different technologies in the production process. If you have too many, then there can be disconnects from what one creative might look like to another. So you need to have less tech in there, but definitely brand guidelines are the most important thing.
Thank you. And one more question for you, Marcus. How to stay authentic in an AI-driven world?
Yeah, that's a big one for us. I'd probably say take the time to train it. My wife jokes that there's 3 people in our marriage: myself, her, and chat, because it's all I ever talk about. But yeah, if you really take the time to train it, be aware of client, GDPR issues. There's certain information you can and can't share within these systems. But if you give it the right framework, and then also you brief it in the right way, and you also steer it, and there's human input when it comes to the creativity, it will get you a long way. It won't get you entirely over the line. You'll still need to have that kind of artwork at the end, that kind of like just to finish it off, but it gets you most of the way there from what we've seen anyway.
And thank you, Marcus. One for Michalis. With all of this automation going on, who built these tools?
Oh, okay. I can answer that. And there is a question in the Q&A that just came in, Ivana. Mm-hmm. So, well, in our case, we did it. So we have software engineers, we have data scientists, we've done the R&D. We've been doing research and development in this space for years, even before OpenAI existed. And we developed more than 100 predictive AI models. And then during the last year and a half, DaVinci was developed. So if you have a group of smart data scientists, usually under 25 years old, and some software engineers, then you can do it. Otherwise, you can partner with a company that has done it.
Thank you. This one I think is for Marcus. Will agencies still need copywriters, or can AI fully replace human creativity in content marketing?
What we've found speaking to copywriters is that many of them are embracing it because it allows them to do more. That's a scaling thing. The other thing is it really is the prompting. There are a lot of people out there that just don't know how to prompt. It's actually a discipline in itself, prompt engineering. So copywriting.
Well, you keep saying that, Marcus, but in what we're presenting today, prompt is not needed, right?
Yeah, for this particular area, but I mean now in other areas of marketing, there are still copywriters. There's still copy that gets produced. I mean, the other example is like developers. So obviously developing code, you don't need that so much now. But knowing how code works allows you to be equally valuable in the world, when these platforms come along. But it will involve a shifting of skill set. You won't be able to continue to do that same job, but if you pivot, then you can still, use your skill sets in a different way. That's probably where this is going.
Allow me to spend 15 seconds on that, and then you can close, Ivana. The feedback we're getting from our clients who receive listening 24/7 content is that copyright, they use it exactly as is. What they are still fine-tuning is the images, but it feels like Gen AI can do the job there. Sometimes not, but in most cases, that's the feedback we're currently getting.
Thank you. Do we have time for one more quick question?
Do we?
Have time for one more quick question? I think maybe.
I don't think we do, Ivana. It's quarter past. So.
Okay, thank you, Marcus, thank you, Michalis, and thank you everyone for joining us today. I will be sharing slides with information about us, and you can contact us at any point. Just give me a second.
The video recording will be sent to everyone, I guess.
Yes, right? And we're looking forward to your feedback. Please contact us, book a meeting, a chat. Let us know. We'd love to hear from you and walk you through anything you need help with. And one more time, have a great day or evening, depending on where you are. And we'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.